Again, it may seem out of character for Jesus. If you've grown up with the Jesus, the gentle, meek, and mild Jesus, how he responds now in the temple. He goes to the house of his Father with his followers to worship the one true God, his Father, and to be united with him. Jesus was always in communication with his Father. Whenever he was on ministering and preaching and healing people, he would always, step aside. He would take time alone to be in communication with his Father. It says here, this is John chapter 2 from verse 13. Now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and so Jesus went up to Jerusalem. And he found in the temple those who sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the money changers doing business. Now, this in and of itself, especially if you're reading this for the first time, you're like, okay, so, well, a temple, it needs maintenance. It has workers. It has the Levite family, the family of priests there. They need something to live on. So just simply the idea of, having some sort of exchange, some way to gain finances, like how Paul would later on describe in 1 Corinthians 9, those who live by the gospel, that in itself was not necessarily evil. People would give offerings, and God made sure that his workers, the ones who were consecrated to him, that they could make a living, that they could survive. But there was something that was going on that made Jesus react in a specific way. In verse 15 it says that Jesus made a whip out of cords, and he drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and the oxen, and he poured out the changers' money and overturned their tables. And he said to those who were doing the selling, who were selling doves, for example, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of merchandise." Then his disciples remembered that it was written, this is what I was referring to before, "Zeal for your house has eaten me up." Another version, I like it better, it says, "Your zeal for your house has consumed me." It's like, okay, let's just pause here for a moment. What was going on? Because for a very long time, we remember Jesus at this point, he's around 30 years old, give or take. So he's already been to the temple multiple times. It was custom that they would go every year, right? So Jesus would have already seen some of these things going on. This was not necessarily new to him. So why is he reacting in this way? What makes him even take the time to make a whip out of cords to drive these people out of the temple? And the accusation that he's making is that you're turning my Father's house. This is supposed to be a holy place, a place dedicated to the worship of Yahweh, the God of Israel, and you're turning it into a place of merchandise. Some of your translations may translate it just a little bit differently. Do not make my Father's house, a marketplace. In another gospel, Jesus calls it, "You have turned